So inside the ripe fruit, you've got these tiny, tiny, tiny seeds. And I really loved painting that because they were so small. Hi, I'm Lucy Smith, one of the botanical artists at Kew. Welcome to my little hidden corner of Kew, which is the artist's room inside the herbarium. My job is to draw plants and paint plants, usually for publication in scientific journals and books. Sometimes there are new species of plants that are being described to science for the first time, and other times they might be plants that are interesting or new to horticulture. With scientific research, every time a plant is described as being new to science, it has to be published in a journal, and that journal has to have illustrations alongside it. So we take the botanist's words and put them into visual form. But often, while we're drawing the plants, we actually make new observations about them that perhaps enhance what the botanists have told us, but often we find new things as well. So working with botanists is very collaborative. There's a back and forth conversation. Often with plants and identifying and understanding them, it's all about shapes, sizes, numbers of things, and how they're put together. So the visual language acts as a sort of shortcut for that. All of the illustrations and paintings that we produce here as Kew artists go into the big collection, the archive of illustrations that's held here in Kew's library. And it's believed there's over 200,000 pieces of artwork in that collection. My favourite plants are probably the one that I've gotten to know best over my time at Kew. So I really love drawing palms, that's how I got started, and also the giant water lilies, which I've been painting and drawing for about 10 years now. I love how architectural those types of plants are. So I like plants with really interesting structures and forms. We have to be really faithful to what the plant looks like. We can't really take liberties or make anything up, so you have to be very strict in your observations about the plant. Often, especially for scientific illustrations, we need to use our microscopes and our magnifying glasses to blow up and enlarge certain details that can't be seen with the naked eye. That's where our scientific illustration skills really come into play. I'm working on a new species of coffee, and it's really important because there's a lot of research being done into how there might be new species of coffee out there that can be used for us to drink in the future to help protect crops against climate change. And apart from that, it's just really important to document the biodiversity of the world. For this work, I'm using pencil to do all my preparatory drawings, all the working drawings and composing the illustration. And then I use pen and ink to create black and white illustrations. As well as doing pen and ink work, I also do watercolour for Kew. So these are the kind of illustrations that I do in watercolour. This species is quite unusual because the flowers can be a little bit pink, not the usual white. And I love how on this branch you've got the unripe fruit, which are quite green, and they're turning this lovely maroon colour until they get really dark. So inside the ripe fruit, you've got these tiny, tiny, tiny seeds. And I really loved painting that because they were so small. So for example, here we've got the flower buds and the big leaf. We've got the flowers on the branch, fruits on the branch, and then a breakdown of the fruits and the seed inside. When I start working on a piece, I actually start by not even picking up a pencil, but by just really looking at the plant and examining it from all angles, because I want to get to know the plant and I want to find the best angle to draw it from. And then I start with measuring the plant, so measuring the proportions between parts of it and measuring specific parts, and making quite loose drawings to begin with, and starting to draw all those beautiful little details that we're really fond of in botanical art. Are you interested in knowing how to start getting into botanical art? Well, these are things that I recommend. Firstly, it helps if you're the kind of person who loves nature, who loves observing nature, and if you're really into detail. Plants are all around us and we take them for granted, but as a botanical artist and illustrator, you learn to look further and further into that plant, and you just discover new things about it all the time. So it's this constant voyage of discovery, exploration, and appreciation of nature. So I would say start by observing and drawing the plants around you. Take a closer look at them. Start your own botanical sketchbook where you might record plants on a daily basis. Learn a little bit about botany so that you can understand about the structures of plants. Try out different methods of drawing using pencil, pen and ink, and watercolour. And finally, take your time with this art form. It's something that requires a lot of patience and pleasure in looking really thoroughly at something, so don't rush it.